Hello, loves. It's Nina Kovner with Passion Squared. Welcome back to the podcast. So, this is 2 weeks in a row. I feel like I may be back. No promises because, it has been a bumpy few years. I know for many people, I'm not alone in that. And I'm all about keeping our promises. And sadly, I've broken some of those over the last few years, and I'm still processing that. So, we're in week 2 of being back, and I'm just going to put it out there that this feels good to be back recording podcasts for you. So today I want to share 2 frameworks. Frameworks are a big part of how we coach at Passion Squared and the way I've been approaching coaching, educating, presenting, building brands for decades. And there's 2 frameworks in particular that seem to be the ones that so many folks that we work with, creative small business owners, salon owners, need. And one of them is about decision making. And one of the things you do all day long is make decisions. That's what we do. And not just in business, but of course in our lives. And I mean, hundreds and hundreds of decisions. Ones that are super simple that are almost like just come super natural, and others that are really difficult and challenging. So this framework is designed to help you with the decisions that you get stuck with the ones you're unsure of, the ones that are stressing you out or overwhelming you. So this is the decision-making framework. And I like to recommend, as my therapist has recommended to me for almost 15 years, is when we are getting into a situation that feels uncomfortable, dicey, tricky, we are unclear of our outcomes and our words, it's good to write stuff down. So that's what we recommend for all of our clients to do. And it could be around healthy boundary setting and team communications. It can also be around decision making. So the first thing you want to write down is, what's the problem or the decision, right? Like, what's actually happening? The second is a question we ask all the time. What outcome are you seeking? So we want to ask ourselves that. Well, what outcome am I seeking? Because this can really shift the energy and tone and approach and really the actual decision that you make. If you're seeking a healthy outcome, that may bring additional thoughts, ideas, perspectives to the problem or decision you're trying to make. All of these are important. But anyway, so what outcome am I seeking? That's critically important. Now, is that outcome aligned with your brand vision and values? So brand story, vision, values, what problem am I solving? How am I solving it? Who am I solving it for? What products and services do I offer to solve those problems? That's our brand storytelling framework. Is this outcome that you're seeking from this problem or decision aligned with your brand vision and values? Now, here's where the self-awareness comes in and really getting honest with ourselves, which is so difficult sometimes. But they say that, quote unquote, the truth will set you free. I think that self-awareness and honesty is critically important in this and in many things in leadership. What am I afraid of with handling this problem or making this decision? What story am I making up? And I'll give an example. A really shitty Yelp review lands in your inbox, or a Google business review. And some of our brains instantly go to, oh my God, I've completely failed. I'm a terrible business owner. Everything I'm doing is wrong. We make up this story based on one review that may be legit or may not be legit. We instantly jump into this story, and that story we create in our brains is based on past experiences, right? And so that self-awareness helps us identify that we are actually making up a story, and that is not the actual reality of this information coming in, this problem coming in, this decision I need to make coming in. It's very difficult. It's very difficult, but it's in that self-awareness and just sitting with it. We say often pause, process, proceed. This is why pause, process, proceed is so important, because if we don't pause and we don't process, we're going to jump straight to proceed, and we may react, respond, answer, reply, whatever, outside of our values, not aligned with our brand. And that is, that's not awesome. Okay, so what am I afraid of with handling this problem or making this decision? What story am I making up? The next one is, what do healthy boundaries look like in this scenario? Because we have to bring our healthy boundaries everywhere. And remember, healthy boundaries are not walls. So we're not putting up a wall. We're not like block and delete. We're not like, fuck you, you're dead to me. That's a wall. What do healthy boundaries look like in this scenario? And then what actions will I take? What actions will I take making this decision or addressing this problem? How will this decision affect my business and brand? Again, when we go back to the what story am I making up, when we get to the how will this affect my business or brands, you may discover that it's going to have an awesomely positive, healthy effect. Let me give you an example for that. You've got a top performing team member or even tenant who's been, who's paying the top tier rent, who has been a tenant for a long time, but they have become a source of negativity, a source of toxicity, a source of unhealthy boundaries, and a pain point for everyone in the business, team members, other tenants, and or clients. So to end the contract, to let the person go, that would be a thought, right? A decision or a problem you're trying to deal with. How will this decision affect my business and brand? In this example, it's going to affect it quite positively, right? And you can write those down. The more specific, the better. We're going to have a happier team. The energy in the space is going to be lighter. I'll be able to get back to spending time doing what I do, which is leading, nurturing, growing, building, listening, creating safe, supportive environments for my folks instead of all the attention I've spent on this distraction. So that would be an example of that. And then once you've gone through all of that and you've actually handled the problem or made the decision, then we want to come back and say, what was the actual outcome? It may not be aligned with the outcome you were seeking, but it's important to go through this process and be like, okay, this is what I wanted to happen, and this is what did happen. They may align, sometimes they may not. But this is the framework that it enables you to become more comfortable. And even though it's not comfortable, but more comfortable and more able to address things as they occur, as opposed to being an avoidance behavior, which can be incredibly destructive, not only to you as a human being, but to your business and your brand. Not making decisions is a decision. Okay, so the next question is, what did I learn in handling this problem, making this decision? There's lessons here. It could be, I learned that I'm a badass. I learned that I have more courage than I thought. I learned to trust my gut. I learned that it's important that I make decisions earlier. Whatever. It can be whatever. What did you learn? Now, the next question is, how am I feeling after handling a problem decision? I'm feeling relieved. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling confused. I'm feeling empowered. It's important to get in touch with those feelings because, again, there's lessons, right? There's lessons in those feelings. And this is stuff you can reference back to next time you are in a struggle to make a decision or address a problem. And then the last one is, how can I take what I learned to my next problem or decision, right? So that is really kind of that call to action, that creating a higher awareness of your skills, a higher awareness of your abilities, of your strength, and your bravery and all of that. So that's the decision-making framework. Now, it's kind of connected in the next framework I want to share with you, and that is our client agreements framework. Now, of course, you could change this to team agreements framework. We have that as well. Tenant agreement framework, we have that as well. And again, these are all frameworks we use with our clients in our ACE School for Creative Small Business Owners group coaching program, as well as one-on-one with our clients. So one of the biggest challenges that, in addition to decision making, which this is part of, and addressing issues, is not having clear agreements. If we don't have clear agreements, then it's really hard to follow up, to place responsibility on ourselves or on our clients or on anybody if there's not clear agreements. Now, of course, we're ultimately responsible. We're the leader, right? The leader's responsible. So the clearer you create agreements, whether, again, it's client agreements, team agreements, tenant agreements, then it just simplifies decision-making. It simplifies problem solving. It simplifies and enhances and elevates the client experience, the team member experience, and the tenant experience. So let's talk about it. Awesome client agreements start with what the experience and promise are. What is the experience of your brand and what are your promises? The next thing is, what is the process for reserving an experience or booking an appointment in detail? What is the communication process? What does the communication process look like in detail? What does the confirmation process look like in detail? What does the cancellation process look like in detail? What does the no-show process look like in detail? What's the agreement? What do you both agree to in this process and promise? And then an opt-in, right? Signature, signing, opt-in. And of course, we have so many online tools now to do this, as well as offline tools inside the business. Awesome client agreements are always aligned with your brand purpose, promise, and people. And that's why we don't recommend using other people's agreements. I mean, even like contracts, like legal contracts, like they're legal and that's what attorneys are for, right? So we definitely don't recommend copying that stuff. We don't recommend copying client agreements either. You can be inspired by somebody's agreements, but your agreements need to be aligned with your brand, purpose, promise, people, vision, and values. Awesome client agreements are clear, simple, and concise. And it's very difficult sometimes to see with outside eyes when we're so deep in the business. And one of the things that I always recommend is having an actual client, someone that is not inside the business, go through that process and ensure they completely understand. Not with your explanation, because you're not there to explain the agreements, right? They're usually inside, written in the agreement, and whether that's offered offline, online, on the website, virtual tool, on social, whatever. Awesome client agreements are infused with healthy boundaries, not walls. Healthy boundaries, not walls. Uses language that's aligned with your brand, of course. Have strong systems to facilitate them, because systems fail way more often than people do. Take into consideration, this is critical, that clients are human beings and things are going to happen and never be perfect. I think we have to remember to stay flexible. Now, usually when we have clear agreements, the majority of the time people follow those agreements. And then there's always going to be like 1, 2, 3% of people that don't, but that's part of doing business. That's nothing to get excited over. That's nothing to get angry over. That's nothing to put people on blast on social media over. That's just part of doing business. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example now of Passion Squared. Okay. And I just made this up because we don't do business this way. So our agreements are quite simple, but I wanted to just give you an example of what we just talked about. So what the experience and promise are. The Passion Squared experience is focused on ensuring you feel seen, heard, and loved. Our commitment to you is to consistently deliver on that promise. That's clear, right? What the communication process looks like in detail. To ensure you have a joyful, seamless experience, we use both text messaging and email for our client communications during business hours. which are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Clear, simple. Process for reserving an experience in detail. We use an online reservation platform to ensure you can reserve your experience when it's convenient for you, 24/7, 365. Simply visit passionsquared.whatever to see your current reservation, make changes, and reserve future experiences. Simple, clear. What the confirmation process looks like in detail. Upon reserving your experience, you'll receive both a text and email confirmation with the details of your reservation. You will also receive 2 reservation reminders 2 days before your reservation and 1 hour before. Again, crystal clear. What does the cancellation process look like? If you need to cancel your reservation, you are given that option with the 2-day reminder, text, or email. If you need to cancel after that, you can do that on our reservation platform. There will be a X amount charge to your credit card on file if you cancel inside the 48-hour confirmation window. We do understand emergencies happen. And in that case, please email us and we'll find a solution. That's it. What does the no-show process look like? If you forget about your reservation after confirming, there will be an X charge. We do understand emergencies happen. In that case, just email us and we will find a solution. We have to remain flexible here. And I don't mean unhealthy. I don't mean having no boundaries. I mean that shit happens. Shit happens. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about these types of things are really that, again, that 1%. And if you have a very high mistake rate in your booking process, then you need to go back and look at the system before you begin to point the finger at the client. Okay. What you both agreed to. We are honored to have that. We are honored you've chosen us to take care of your needs. We promise to take care of you and ask that you promise to help us do that by adhering to our agreements. Clear. Now, see, what you don't hear in any of this is no, you can't do this, and no, and policy, and all of these walls, this wall language. Unless that's the type of language that's aligned with your brand, I do not recommend using that type of language. There is no connection in that language. There's actually disconnection in that language. We talk often about language because language is a big part of brand development. Language is a huge part of marketing and communications. And this is communications. So that would just be a simple way to create clear and awesome client agreements. I'll review real quickly what the experience and promises of your brand, what the communication process looks like, the process for reserving, the confirmation process, the cancellation process, the no-show process, what you both agreed to in this process, and then the opt-in. So many of the issues that we face as creative small business owners comes back to lack of clarity around brand story, vision, and values, and not having clear communications with our, again, clients, or it could be team members, or it could be tenants if you're a lease-based business. The work it takes up front, the time it takes up front, the brain power it takes up front will pay off a gazillion times over when you are no longer waking up at night stressed out about a problem, stressed out about a decision, confused, burning energy, burning creativity, not able to be present for your team. All of those things that stress out a creative small business owner and leader. These are just 2 tools, the decision-making framework and the awesome client agreements framework, that can just be a game changer, be an absolute game changer for so much of your daily life as a leader. So, as always, if you have questions, if you want to keep this conversation going, you can find us on the gram at Passion Squared, Facebook, Passion Squared. PassionSquared.net is our website. We're on TikTok at Passion Squared, and you can always email us at awesome@passionsquared.net. Our A School for Creative Small Business Owners is opening for new members. We open about 3 times a year. We're opening for new members this month, at the end of this month, July 29th. To learn more about A School, which is now we're entering our 8th year, you can visit passionsquared.net/a-school, or just look us up on the gram and click the link in our bio. And then, of course, always come to us with any questions that you have. Thank you so much for listening. What you do every day is inspiring, it's courageous, and it's fucking amazing. And it's my greatest joy to watch you grow and shine and have breakthroughs and lead. It's just a complete joy. Until next time, have a peaceful day, loves.